Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Crafting with Mermaid Tears. This week we are going to be making a simple, quick and easy keychain. The first thing that you are going to use, if you can find them, are these paper clips that look like a tail. I was able to find them at the local Michael's here. They're just Craft Smart paper clips. So that's the first thing that you are going to want to use. The first thing that you're going to do with your paper clip is you're going to cut off the actual little piece on the back, and you want to try and cut it off as close to where it lines up as you can. So I'm just going to lift it a little bit and trim it right at the bump here. And apparently that piece is going to go flying across the room. So now I have a tail that I am ready to work with and turn into a keychain. If you don't want to do anything else with it, you can just add your keychain immediately, but I always like a little bit of color. So I have found some thread. Mine is an 8mm yarn, and it's often found in the cross-stitch section of the store. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take it and just tie it right where I cut it. I'm going to tie a couple of knots just to secure it a little bit better. Don't worry about the extra long hanging piece that you have there. The next thing that I'm going to do is actually take my glue gun. Now I have my glue gun set on low because I tend to like burning myself, and this is, as you can see, a handy dandy hefty one. And I'm just going to put a dab of glue gun right where I broke it off and down that line there a little bit. So now I'm going to take my thread and I'm just going to wrap it right around the tail. And you're going to just keep going until you have it fully wrapped. The reason for the glue is so that it doesn't slip off your keychain. Once you get down towards the end of the tail, or I guess the top of the tail, depending on how you want to look at it, just this part right here, what you want to do is really make sure that you glue this down nicely, because if you try and wrap it, you're going to notice that it's just going to keep slipping off. So make sure that you get quite a good dab of glue on that part. You might even find it easier to glue both sides on this one, just because of how uneven it is. So now I've made it all the way to the tip of my tail, and as you can see, it's quite messy there, and I have some pieces of the glue gun sticking out, and that's okay because now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually rewrap it, and this time, because there is already some yarn on it, I don't need to do the glue. You may find that you need to go over the piece one or two more times, and that's okay. Just keep winding until you are happy with everything and with it being colored and the right thickness. Once you're happy with how the body part of the tail is, you can either keep going and wrap the tail part, or you can change colors, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start by just tying a knot right here with the thread that I already had in place. And again, I'm going to do two just to make sure it's nice and snug. So now that I have this tied in place, I'm going to cut off this end right here with just a snip, but I'm going to keep my other color attached for now, just because I may find afterwards that there are areas that I missed, or I might want to just weave it through that one. So I'm just going to leave that on there, but I'm going to tie my yellow into place now. So I tied my yellow on the opposite side that I had tied the orange, and part of that is just so I don't end up picking this string up, but I'm going to actually hold this string kind of in my hand as I hold the base of it, and then I'm going to do exactly what I did for this, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue, and I am going to just start wrapping. Once I've gotten up to the rounded part here, I am going to put the glue on both sides again, because it makes it easier to stay on. Now that I have gone through and finished my first wrap, I'm going to go through again and now repeat it until I am happy with all the areas that are covered. So now I'm back to where I started with the yellow, and I'm going to do the same thing and wrap the fin on the other side. Now on the second fin, I'm not actually going to take the string all the way to the end, and that's because this is the part where I'm going to attach the key ring to it. So now that I've made it to almost the end, I'm going to just start my wrap back the other way. Once I've made it back to the end, I'm going to tie off my yellow, and again, I don't know why, but I always like to do just a couple of knots. Now I'm going to cut off just this yellow one. I'm still going to leave my peach one attached, or orange, I'm not sure what color that is. So I'm going to cut right by the knot there. So the reason that I left my orangey peach one on is I'm not sure if you can see it that well, but there's a little bit here that started to show once I did the yellow. So I can now take my orange and just make sure that I fill that part in. Now that I have that filled in, I'm going to tie my yellow piece to my peachy orange piece. And then I'm going to take both of them and just cut them off. So just to keep mine glued and to make sure that it stays down, I'm actually going to put the tiniest little daub of glue there, and I'm going to push it down with my fingers just so you can barely see that it's there. Just that way it just keeps those in place. Now with my fin tail, how I like it, this is when you are going to add your keychain. When you are opening up your jump ring here, you want to make sure that you pull it side to side instead of out to the other side. So just move it forwards and backwards. Never pull it out this way. If it doesn't line up, just pull it back out again and push it in a little bit further. That way it'll keep its round shape. So again, I'm going to slide it towards me. I'm going to put it in that piece there, and I am going to slide it back and make sure that it's closed. So there is the mermaid tail keychain. I am not going to be done though, because I always like to add a little bit of sparkle to my things. To add the sparkles, I'm using some liquid glue. It's Dimensional Embellishments from Close to My Heart. So I'm just going to take the glue and I'm going to squeeze it on to my keychain. I'm not putting a lot of the glue, just a little bit here. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to just kind of run it over so that it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to take my glitter and take a little pinch, and I'm just going to dust it ever so lightly onto my fin there. And once this side has dried, I'm going to do the same thing. Pick it up, just dust it ever so lightly, and add some sprinkle to it. And once I've done that, then the keychain will be finished. Thank you so much for joining me today as we made the lovely mermaid tail keychain. I hope that you will join me again for more Crafting with Mermaid Tears in a couple of weeks. Have yourself an absolutely wonderful day.